Hey you guys, welcome back to Bake with Shivesh. In this episode, we are making eggless, yeast-free donuts with a beautiful chocolate glaze. So for all of you who've been missing donuts in this lockdown, let's get baking. I'll start by adding a teaspoon of white vinegar to half a cup of milk. Mix it together and let it sit for about 5 to 10 minutes. This would make your donuts softer, but if you don't have white vinegar, you could use lemon juice or skip this step altogether. While that is resting, let me start adding rest of the ingredients into a bowl. I'm adding 1.5 cups of maida, which is all-purpose flour. To this, 1/4 cups of castor sugar. If you don't have that, you could use regular granulated sugar. In goes 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda and half a teaspoon of baking powder. I'm also throwing in a pinch of salt. I'm also grating in some nutmeg, about 1/4 teaspoon of that, which would give these donuts a beautiful flavor and smell and make you feel you've picked those donuts off a bakery counter. If you don't have nutmeg, you could skip it altogether or replace it with the same quantity of cinnamon powder. Give this a good mix and make a well in the center, into which we'll start adding our wet ingredients. So in goes the milk and the vinegar mixture that we had set aside earlier. In goes 1/4 cup of butter. If you want, you could replace this with the same quantity of vegetable oil. And a tablespoon of yogurt or dahi. And now I'll just mix everything together until my dough comes together. Towards the end, if your dough still feels too wet or too sticky, you could add in a tablespoon of flour and mix it in. But don't add more than that because you don't want your dough to become too tough. It should look something like this. Now we let it sit on the counter for about 30 to 40 minutes. Now remember, it won't double up or rise like the yeast dough does, but we let it rest so that it becomes softer. Alright, so my dough is well rested. I've dusted the counter with some flour, divided my dough into 2 parts just to make it simpler for myself, and now I'll start rolling it out. I'm not going to roll it out too thin. I still want to make sure it's nice and thick. To cut out my donuts, I'm going to use this donut cutter. If you don't have that, you could just use cookie cutters of 2 different sizes or 1 large lid and 1 small lid to cut out that hole in the center. And now it's time to deep fry the donuts. Carefully add them into hot oil. Let it cook until it becomes fluffy and rises. Then flip it and cook it until it gets a beautiful golden brown color. My donuts are ready to be dressed up. To make that beautiful chocolate glaze, you need 1 cup of dark chocolate. Roughly chop it up, add it to a bowl, and to that add 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil. Now all you need to do is to microwave this at 30-second intervals until the chocolate melts completely. here we go. Truth be told, I've already eaten 3, but I'm gonna eat 1 for you guys. So good. Honestly, it's that nutmeg that gives it a very those bahar ka donut taste that we get. So good. And I also love the texture, if you can see. So honestly, making donuts at home is very simple, and you can really whip these up super quickly with very basic ingredients. I hope you guys enjoyed watching today's video. In case you did, please do give it a thumbs up, leave me a comment and subscribe to the channel. And if you make these donuts at home, don't forget to share them on your Instagram stories and tag me at Shivesh17. I can't wait to see your creations. I'll see you later this week with another recipe. So until then, stay tuned and happy baking.